Hey guys, it's time for another Transformer review. This time it's going to be Reveal the Shield Jazz. Before we go on here looking at the actual toy, let's just kind of move him out of the way here and just talk about the packaging real quick. And I'm going to start off here by just reading off his little character bio. And you can see there pictures of him. Here's the bio up here. And I'll just read it off here. It says, Autobot Jazz falls in love with every world he visits. The tiniest hint of alien culture is enough to fascinate him for hours. His ability to immerse himself in a new civilization makes him an ideal undercover agent. He blends in with the environment, absorbing every bit of data he can, and looks for the anomaly that tells him Decepticons are present. So yeah, that's his little bio there. And a couple other things about the packaging here. Since this is the Reveal the Shield line, I guess what they're going for with this is that they have the rub signs on them, which, you know, if you're familiar at all with Transformers, you know they had those in the G1 original toy line. And basically it's a 10% sensitive little like sticker, so you'd put your finger on it and it would heat up, revealing the faction symbol, either Autobot or Decepticon. So basically they're just redoing that, you know, nowadays, updating it for the modern toys. So the packaging here kind of leads you to believe that it's a big mystery, that you don't know if these guys are Autobots or Decepticons. You know, it doesn't really show you a clear symbol here. And in fact, it even has right there, you can kind of see this like outline of the faction symbol but with a question mark on it. So it's like on the front of the package here, it's kind of like, who is this guy? Is he an Autobot or Decepticon? But then when you turn it over to the back, you can plainly see here there's a nice big Autobot symbol. So really, they're not really fooling anyone. And even here in the bio, it says Autobot Jazz. So the first words on the bio are, you know, it's an Autobot. So yeah, it's kind of goofy the way they're doing the packaging. On the front, it's, you know, like it's a mystery, but on the back, you know, they pretty much tell you, you know, if it's an Autobot or Decepticon. I just found that kind of funny. Anyways, enough rambling about the packaging. Let's bring him back here. So there he is now, and there he is in his alt mode. It's a sports car. I'm not sure if this sports car here is supposed to be like a Porsche or a Mazda or something like that. It looks kind of reminiscent of one of those two type of vehicles, but yeah, he's you know, the typical white sports car. It rolls fairly well, but a couple little complaints. First is the wheels. They're sadly the typical sort of solid black wheels that they seem to like to do with these Transformer toys. None of the hubcap features are painted at all, so yeah, that's kind of a little bit lacking there. And the other complaint is here in the rear. Basically, there's no real paint apps at all here on the rear. There's nothing painted. There's no tail lights painted red. There's no rear window. They didn't paint any of the exhaust pipes or anything, so it's just basically plain white plastic, which is kind of a disappointment. I mean, really, they probably could have put at least a few little paint apps on there, but it's kind of a minor complaint. Oh, and one quick thing, this little spoiler here on the back does kind of bend a little bit. You can kind of bend it up or down, but that's mainly because of the transformation of this guy. But yeah. And the windows here are kind of the clear blue plastic, and you can kind of see the robot parts in there, which isn't too bad of a thing, really. But there he is there. Now, as far as accessories go, the only thing he has is this little cannon, which is here, stored away on the underside. And you can clearly see there's his robot arms and head and stuff there. But to get it out, you just pop it out here, like so. It just pegs in here from the grip of the gun or whatever it is. There's two little holes, so you can just pop them in either way you want. But here it is here, and it does kind of fold out or extend out like so. You just got to kind of rotate that out, and let's see, actually it goes like that and like that. So there you go. That's his gun there, extended out or folded out, you know, into position. So there's his little blaster. Speaking of blasters or blasting, he does have the little speaker play feature that'll make his speakers pop out here. And all you do to do that is basically just open up the car doors here. And the speakers are here on either side, right here. If I turn it under, you can see the speakers there. And you just detach them from here and just rotate it out. And then this window's got like a little hinge right here, and you just rotate that like that, and kind of see it there like that. And then that'll, once it's rotated like that, basically, then you can go ahead and close the doors back up, and leaving the speakers hanging out. Let's see if I can get that lined up there. His legs are kind of popping out on me here a little bit. Like that. And these are like on these little arms that are got like ball joints on them. So they can swivel around and pivot up and down, kind of fold in and out. So you can kind of leave them just hanging out like this if you want, kind of away from the car body. Or you can kind of fold them up like this, so that they're a little more flush with the body of the car. I kind of like to just leave them kind of like that. But yeah, so you can kind of recreate that little feature or ability that he had on the G1 cartoon, where his speakers would pop out and he played the music real loud and disorient all the bad guys with the sound waves and everything. But that's that little play feature there. So let's go ahead and just close this back up, or fold it back up, and get him back into his alt mode here. Just kind of reverse everything. And let's see, this goes like this. These are always kind of tricky here on me. So you got to put the speakers so that they're facing down, and I always end up rotating it the wrong way. But let's see here, because there's some little posts right here, and they got to kind of rotate onto those. There we go. And it'll just kind of snap into place here. It's not much of a post. There you go, like that. And now you should be able to line up the car doors and close it. And let's do the other one here. Just kind of fold it around. Yeah, see, I got it this time. Like that. And move all that back in. And before we move on here, let's just talk a little bit about a bit of a comparison. Now, I got G1 Jazz, or actually it's a reissue of the G1 Jazz right here. Kind of just look at these guys side by side. So you can see they maintained most of the characteristics of Jazz. It's got the same kind of color scheme, the same kind of sports striping on it. It's the number 4 on it. This one has the rub symbol right here. And for further comparison, I got animated Jazz here. So you can see how they've maintained throughout the different versions of this guy the characteristics that make up Jazz. But anyways, that's just a little brief little comparison. So I think we're done here looking at the alt mode, and next up we'll move on to the transformation and robot mode. Alright, here we go with the transformation on this guy. Like I was saying earlier, you can store the weapon here underneath. So if you got the weapon here, first of all you want to take this out. Just kind of get in there and pop it out. And what you want to do is start by opening up the doors here. That's just going to kind of let you get in there and get to all the little bits and pieces of him. And this rear portion here is his legs, so what you want to do is just kind of bend these down, but be careful in here with this part, because the roof here is connected by these 2 little small tabs, and honestly this is probably a part that could break on you. These tabs are pretty small and delicate, so just be kind of careful on how you bend this part out. If you kind of get there on the camera and see those 2 tabs are very small. They just kind of fit in these little like slots in here, and I think on mine I already got some little like stress marks in here on it. So yeah, I wish they would have made these tabs a little bit more beefy, or had them as like a post or something that pegged in here, as opposed to just being these 2 little flimsy pieces of plastic here. So I can see these breaking off on you here if you're not too careful. But anyways, just go ahead and fold out his legs here like so. And you can go ahead and just split these apart like that. And just kind of raise this part up like that. And that's going to kind of push his feet out here. And here's his feet. And just kind of rotate those. And his heel kind of came out on me here already. But it should have been folded up in there. Like so. And then you would just fold it out like that. And there's this little gray flap here that's kind of like spring-loaded. and that'll just drop down and kind of fill up that gap there. So let's just kind of get his feet straightened out here, and then do the same here. I'm going to go ahead and start by moving his foot up like that, and let's just straighten out the rest of his leg like that. Now on my figure here, and I don't know if this is common throughout with these Reveal the Shield Jazz figures, but his knee joints here are like double jointed, and mine's a little loose here. So standing him up is kind of a little bit of a pain as far as making him stand up straight, and hopefully it won't be too much of a problem here once I finish with the rest of them. But let's go ahead and try and stand him now if I can. And down tipping over there. He is a little floppy because of those knee joints. And then the rest of them here is pretty simple. It's just a matter of getting his arms out and kind of flipping them out. So just kind of rotate those up like this, and then just pull them apart like that. And that's going to open up that area there for his head to pass through. And then this part here is kind of like a little bit of an automorph feature. You just rotate this down and it's going to make his head pop up like so. And I am a little disappointed with this part in that there's nothing really in here that secures this part of the car to form his chest or locks it into place. It just kind of rests there. So yeah, I wish they would have had something in here that kind of actually locks it into place. Because when you're moving his arms here, this whole assembly tends to want to go up and down on you. I think they kind of missed the mark there a little bit with that part of him. And speaking of his arms, just kind of rotate these like that so that the shoulders are kind of facing towards you. See, that whole assembly wants to kind of just rotate. Again, it doesn't really lock into place, so it's a bit of a disappointment. And then the last part here is just this rear, the windshield or the rear part of him here. It's on a little arm here, and you can just rotate it up until it kind of fills up this little groove in here like so. And with that, you pretty much have him now in his robot mode. And now I'm just going to try and get him to stand up straight here, on the camera at least. Like I said, these knee joints on mine are kind of loose, and I'm not sure if that's a common thing here on this guy. But you kind of see how he's kind of tilting there. Now he's tilting back, and now he's tilting forward. So let me see if I can get his legs straight here. And get his knee joints straight. I'll kind of balance him out here if I can. There we go. I think I got him now. I think it's a matter of getting his feet kind of just right too. But there we go. Anyways, that's good enough. You kind of see here his feet are kind of not really sitting on the ground on mine. They're kind of tilting back. Let's see if I can get those there. There we go. Yeah. Alright, so let's move on up here and look at the detail on him. Just kind of pan in here a little bit. And there's his head. I think they did a real good job here with the head sculpt. It looks very much like Jazz. Pretty close to his G1 version. It does have some little light piping in there, you can kind of see. Since it's such a dark blue, it doesn't really shine through there very well unless you got probably a light directly behind it, but the way my lighting is here, it doesn't really show up too well here on the camera. But it's still a good head sculpt nonetheless. So let's kind of go out here a little bit and just look at the rest of him. And these doors here, you can bend them back if you want, if you don't want them sticking out so much. I like to just leave them out there. It kind of looks like his little wings. I think it looks cool like that. There he is there. Let's just kind of go on down here. Again, a pretty good job with him for a deluxe class figure. There's his feet, and let's kind of go out and just kind of rotate him around here and look at him from the back. Pretty good job here on the back, not a lot of kibble, nothing really hanging off other than these little speakers in here. Pretty good job. And again, there's a little Reveal the Shield sticker or whatever it is. And let's bring back his little gun here. I'm just going to kind of fold it out like that. Whoops. So there it is, and that fits rather easily into his hand. Just slides in like this, and he holds it nice and securely. So yeah. So there you go, you got him holding his gun now. The articulation on this guy is pretty decent. Let's just run through that here real quick. His head here is on a little ball joint, so you can rotate that all around, make him look up and down, left and right. The shoulders here, again, this part here is a little lacking because of the way it transforms, but they're on ball joints here at the actual shoulder joint, and you can get some extra movement because of the transformation. But you can rotate it forward, left and right, kind of in and out. It swivels here at the upper shoulder area, bends at the elbow. The hands here are nice because they're on like little ball joints of their own, so they can twist and rotate and pivot around. The waist you can actually rotate, so he does have waist movement. And the hips here are ball jointed, so again, typical ball joint range of motion. And also you can rotate here at the upper thigh. The knees, like I mentioned, are double jointed, so you get a good range of motion with that. And the feet don't really move a whole lot. I mean, they do move, but mostly that's because of the way they transform. So yeah, you can move the feet up and down. And I think I got his foot kind of locked up here in the back. There we go. Now let's see if I can stand him back up here. But there he goes there. And quickly, let's go out and do a little bit of a comparison here. And let's bring back in our other two Jazz figures. Here is the Generation 1 Jazz, and here is Animated Jazz, just to kind of get a comparison again of the different versions of him. And again, they keep all the characteristics pretty much the same, so it does look like Jazz. My final thoughts on this guy, I'd say it's a pretty good figure for the price, considering it's a deluxe class figure. It's fairly cheap. The range of motion's good on it, articulation's good. It looks very show accurate. It's very reminiscent of the G1 version. Transformation's a little simple, but that's kind of cool. You know, it's easy to get them in and out of modes. I would say take some points away though, because they don't have many paint apps on that rear part in the alt mode. I think they could have put something there better than what it is now. Just anything would have been better, really. And these knee joints here are kind of floppy on him. And also this fact here that the front end of the car doesn't really secure into place. So those three things kind of take away a little bit from the figure, but overall it's still a good figure and worth picking up. Anyways, I think that'll do it now, and I'll end my look here at Reveal the Shield Jazz.